Welcome to another episode of Fan Food. This is part two of our look at the first week in the NFL. Now we're going to start with the Colts and Chargers. The Colts lost to the Chargers 24-30. The Chargers looked good. Their offense was very good even without Melvin Gordon. My advice to Melvin Gordon is get into camp or get with the team for the season. Both running backs looked very good for the Chargers, and they're not missing Melvin Gordon at all. The Colts, their defense looked very good. It looked strong against the Chargers, and their offense was run admirably by Brissett. He's going to come into a pretty good job, but with him, the offense doesn't look that explosive, and it shows signs of inconsistency. But the offense was relatively good, and they will definitely win some games with that defense and the offense playing hopefully better throughout the season. The next game is the Bengals and the Seahawks. The Seahawks beat the Bengals 21-20. I was very impressed with the Bengals defense. It played great. They got a ton of pressure on the Seahawks offense, and they got a lot of sacks. The Bengals offense played pretty well. Andy Dalton was pretty accurate and completed a lot of passes, and the offense looked good, except when Dalton did Dalton things. He overthrew receivers, got sacked, and he had several fumbles, including one where he just tried to not throw the ball, and the ball just came out of his hand. That's just what Dalton does sometimes. He's a good quarterback, but he just does clumsy things and gets in his way. That's the Bengals' motto. Then the Giants and Cowboys. The Cowboys beat the Giants 35-17. The Giants' defense looked horrible, and their offense under Eli Manning did not look good. I think the timer is now set for when we think their backup quarterback, Daniel Jones, is going to get some action. Because Eli looked okay, but that offense just does not look good. The only thing good about the Giants is Saquon Barkley, who had a monster game. For some reason, only 11 carries. If I'm the Giants, I'm shoving the ball in his hands and telling him to carry the load. The Cowboys' offense was very good. Their running game was solid. Their passing game dynamic. Their offensive line gave a lot of holes for the running backs and gave plenty of time for Dak Prescott. Now, I want to pump the brakes on this pay Dak. I've heard a lot of people say that, look, he threw 4 touchdown passes. The Cowboys' offense looked great. They need to pay the man $30, $40 million a year to keep him. And I'm saying hold off on that. The offense looked good. Dak played well, but he was throwing to wide open wide receivers. I mean, these were receivers that the wide stands for wide open. There were catches where there was hardly a Giant even in the frame, and they were just running wild on the Giants all day. So he played well, but let's be honest, it was against the Giants defense, and he was making passes to people that were just wide open. Any NFL quarterback should have made those passes. Now, if he does this week in and week out against some of the better defenses in the league, then you can pay him. But right now, he looks like a good quarterback, and he does not need great quarterback money in a league that has a hard salary cap. You only have so much money, and it's got to go throughout the entire team. You pay Dak $35 million a year, you're going to start to lose players that aren't as visible as Dak is, but they make a difference, and having people that are lesser players in their spot will affect your team as a whole. It's just hard to pay a quarterback that big of money unless he's Peyton Manning, whoever else. But if you notice, there are some good quarterbacks that take less money and win a lot of Super Bowls. I won't name names, but there's one guy who was rarely ever in the top 10 in quarterback pay, and he wins a lot of Super Bowls. You can guess who that might be. Then you got the Lions and the Cardinals, who were a 27-27 tie. Neither team looked very good. The Cardinals, though, are a young team with a rookie quarterback who looked much, much better in the second half. I think from this game, the Lions are just not going to be that good. But the Cardinals are going to be exciting. They're not going to be very good, but they might get better throughout the season as their team matures. But neither team is going to be that great this season. You got the 49ers and the Buccaneers. The 49ers won 31-17. Now, before 49er fans get too excited, they caught 3 passes from the inaccurate and incurably bad Jameis Winston. He cannot get out of his own way. He handles the ball without much discretion. He'll get fumbled, he'll get sacked, holding the ball on too long, and his interceptions are wild and inaccurate, and he overthrows several receivers throughout the game. He just did not look good. He's one of those quarterbacks that can make all the throws, physically looks great, but for some reason mentally it just isn't there, and the accuracy just isn't there. He'll have some crisp, beautiful-looking passes that are 40 yards on the field, and then he'll have a 10-yard pass to the other team. It's just that kind of quarterback. And the 49ers, their defense looked good. It's had 3 interceptions, 2 return touchdowns, but that's against Jameis Winston. We'll see what they do against the rest of their schedule. And the 49ers offense looked pretty good. Not great, but as I said, they scored 31 points, but 14 of that was on returned interceptions for touchdowns. And there's another interception. Their offense has helped a lot in that game. So their offense looked okay, but the Buccaneers defense is one of its strengths. So we'll see how the 49ers offense looks against other teams. Then we got the Steelers and the Patriots. The Patriots beat the Steelers 33-3. The Patriots looked really good on offense. Tom Brady looked like Tom Brady. They didn't even have AB yet. They're passing the ball and running the ball to all manner of different people, spreading the wealth offensively. Their defense looked solid against Steelers. To be honest, the Steelers without AB look like they're going to suffer from just not having a lot of playmakers. At least looking at week 1, Juju Smith cannot get out of the coverage when he's the focus. But we'll see how the Steelers look the rest of the season. But right now, it looks like the Steelers offensively are in trouble. And defensively, they're playing the Patriots, but they didn't look good. So it might be a rough year for the Steelers this upcoming season. Next, we have the Texans and the Saints, which is probably the best game of the week. The Saints won 30-28 on a last-minute field goal. Both teams looked really good. Both defenses look like they're going to be good defenses, and both offenses look explosive. But they showed a little first-week rust and inconsistencies. But I think both these teams are going to be looking at good playoff runs this season. Then lastly, you have the Broncos and the Raiders. And the Raiders are the surprise team, to me at least. I did not expect them to be this good. They looked very good on defense, and their running game with Josh Jacobs was brutal. And their passing game with Carr was crisp. And it wasn't consistent. I mean, obviously, because they only scored 24 points. They didn't put up 40 like the Chiefs. But their offense did look good. It looks more like with Josh Jacobs, a pound them out kind of offense. And Carr looked really good. So they're going to have a good offense and a good defense. So the Raiders should be decent this year. Not Super Bowl contenders by any stretch, but I do see them having a good year. The Broncos just look bad. The Broncos defense played pretty well. They're supposed to have a great pass rush. That did not materialize this game, at least. Maybe the Raiders' offensive line is that good. I doubt it. But even though the Broncos' defense is pretty good, their offense, the defense is pretty good. Their offense is terrible. Joe Flacco looked like Joe Flacco, or Fluco, however you want to call him. He was bad. He was inaccurate, missing receivers, just not good. And as long as they put faith in him, which is what John Elway does. John Elway tends to put faith and draft and trade for quarterbacks that are not good, and he has continued to do that up to now. And Flacco will carry that long-standing tradition of John Elway getting just awful quarterbacks. So the Broncos not going to be good this year, and the defenses that play against them, good for fantasy because he's going to throw some picks and he's not going to look good. But that's this week in the NFL. That wraps both videos up. If you liked the video, please hit the like button and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Fan Food.